I'm going to put together a short video on the haul truck. It's going to be some preparation work on the frame, removing some components and stuff like that. But kind of where I am right now is at the mercy of everybody else. The guy from the salvage yard that is getting me the adapter bell housing that fits in between the motor bell housing and the transmission is still got my engine and transmission. He's got some guys that have been on vacation and a lot of work before it, so he's still got it. I should have that back next week, he said. I'm still waiting for a confirmation price on blasting the frame. I finally got a hold of the guy. Guy got back to me. I sent him some pictures of it so that he could give me a price for it, and whether he's going to do it here or he wants me to bring it to him. So I've got that going on. So there's a bunch of other things that I'm kind of at the mercy of. So as soon as I get it back, I'm the transmission and engine, that is, get it back, I'm going to try and test fit it into the framework. And hopefully by that time I will have had the frame blasted so that I can get whatever components that I'm going to need to make mounts for the transmission and engine, etc. So it could be a couple of slack weeks, but anyways, I've got this video up where I'm pulling some stuff out. I got that driveline disconnect unit out. So bear with me, but it will be coming. Just a brief shot of the frame. What I'm doing is just removing stuff. Now these are the vacuum lines that went back to that driveline disconnect unit. What I'm going to be doing is removing some stuff. There's miscellaneous bolts and tubing still left on it. I've got all that vacuum tubing that goes to the brakes, vacuum advance for the brakes. I'm probably going to be removing that vacuum advanced unit off of that. Probably going to remove all of the brake lines also and run new brake lines for everything. That way I can be assured that everything's in good condition. So going to be removing it all, only to be put back together afterwards. So I just wanted to give you a shot of it. Okay, all of the brake lines are out. The vacuum advance for the brakes is out. And now I left the brake tube that runs up to the front in until I get that axle off, and the same way with the thing in the back. I just left that pigtail on there until I get that axle off and figure out how I'm going to mount that. I've got the rear drive shaft between the driveline disconnect and the rear axle taken out, and I'm about ready to pull this driveline disconnect out. Here's what I did. I just brought the cutting torch over, cut a hole in that piece of angle iron on top of that driveline disconnect so that the hook of the engine hoist would go in there. What I'm going to do now, I've got one bolt over there. This one, all they did is put like a turned thing on there so that it would just disconnect. But what I'm going to do is just loosen that bolt up, twist that thing off of there, and take that out. I pulled that bolt out. Well, I didn't pull the bolt out. I just swiveled that like toggle thing that they had holding that on there. And it's loose. You're going to pick it up. Okay, there it is. I'll take that plate off of the top of it and I'll put it with the transmission. There's a couple what used to be bolts here. They were cut off with a cutting torch and they probably cut that tank off. And because they've got slag and stuff on them, I can't get it out the end. So I'm just going to take a cut-off wheel and cut these things off. I'm going to bring it around back. There's a couple more in the back. I'm sure I'll find something else, but it's ready for blasting now. Okay, so what I did was just push this frame outside and power washed it. Got some of that dirt. There was a lot of mud and dirt on it. So what I'm going to do is take you through it and kind of show you an up close kind of inspection of the frame. And I gotta tell you, it's in really, really good shape. Now let me just deviate here for a bit. It looks like before they put the tank on, there was a bracket that probably came across here, and there was probably a carrier bearing in here before they put that driveline disconnect. And I've got to assume, because there's brackets on both sides and they're rivets, it's riveted on. There's brackets on both sides of it that were cut off. And I've got to assume they did that at the fire truck factory to I told you there would be stuff that I would find. Now the spring shackle on the other side is broken, but I'm gonna try. I'll put that back together again. It's just the bolt that goes through it is broken. I've got to say that this piece of angle iron, I think that's, I'm gonna leave it for now, but I think that's was put on at the tank or at the fire truck factory too. Again, here are some what looks like to be remnants of a welded bracket. I'm sorry, a riveted bracket on the frame. Here's that shackle that's broken. What I'll do is I'll just compress that spring back together, see if I can get that out of there, put a new bolt in there, and just put it back together. After power washing it, I'm pretty much set on having it blasted because there's just some spots, areas where it would be too hard to get to with a wire wheel. That's funny. Is that a stop? No, it can't be a stop. What would it be for? Not really sure. There's one on the other side too. I'll take you over there and show it to you. Same thing here. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm going to give that guy a call, find out what his schedule is and how much he's going to charge me to do this. Bring you back. I just kind of wanted to show you. It's a Sunday. I'm in here just kind of messing around, and the reason why I'm in here and not climbing it, first of all, it's extremely hot outside. It'd be a bitch because rock wall that we climb at locally is kind of south facing, and it's pretty hot, humid, and you would be just baking in the sun all day long, and that sun reflects off of that wall too. So it's kind of like being out in the boat where the sun reflects off the water. Well, you wouldn't think it, but it reflects off of that wall too. But anyways, what I did is got the gantry crane over the frame here so that when I get the engine and transmission back, between the gantry crane and the engine hoist, I need to kind of set it in place or kind of see how it's going to fit in place to I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop. You know what, as I was talking about that and looking at it, I'm looking at this frame, this cross frame member that the old engine sat on, and I'm thinking, man, that thing is going to be way too high. Well, let me see. Before I go jumping to conclusions, let me get the engine and the transmission back and see how it really even relates to that or that cross member. But what I was saying is I got the gantry crane over here, and between the engine hoist and the gantry crane on the engine and transmission, I can kind of set it, kind of position it into place, and you know, having two of them, like the gantry crane on the back end on the transmission and the engine hoist up to the front on the engine, I can kind of set it in there, tilt it back or forward, using one or the other of the two hoists. So just to let you know, I've got it over here. I don't know whether I told you or not, I went down there this week being today is Sunday the 1st, so it was last week actually. Went down there last week and talked to him in case he said that the guy that is kind of doing it was on vacation. He won't be back until next week, so not to be able to expect the engine and transmission back until next week. Not this week, the week of the 4th, but the following week of the today's the 1st, so it would be the following week of the 8th, beginning the 8th. But anyways, there it is. I've still got to get a hold of that guy about the sandblasting too. And again, the only reason why I say sandblasted is getting into them springs, getting into the spring shackles, the turnbuckles, everything like that is going to be kind of a bitch. So it'd be a lot easier to sandblast it than it would be to go over it with a sander or wire wheel or whatever. But I'll let you know when I find out about that.